a cantina far, far away comes the most exciting card game in the galaxy. Keep your cards close to your chest, bet, bluff, and make use of the interference field to avoid the Sabacc shift. Put it all together to get the right hand and win the Sabacc pot. Lose and you'll be exposed as a no-good swindler. If you like Texas Hold'em and Blackjack, you're going to love this game because it is a cross of the two. I love it a bunch. There was this big tournament this weekend with a bunch of YouTubers. Unfortunately, I didn't get to do it. Maybe I'll get to do one in the future. But we're going to go over the tutorial and the basic rules to the game. Then we're going to play one game against the bots. And then I'm going to show you the winning hand, which was just crazy in that tournament. So we're going to go into the tutorial at first. And it uses a different kind of deck. But the basic object is to get your hand to add up to either a positive or negative 23. And the deck is comprised of 76 cards. And basically, there's 1 through 11 and 4 suits. And the suits don't really have any importance in this game. And then there are face cards. And the face cards have values of 12, 13, 14, and 15. But you don't really have to memorize them because the computer will add up your hand in the bottom so you don't have to do all the math. And there's 4 of all of those cards. And then these 8 cards, there's 2 in the deck. And they either have a neutral or negative value. And the number is there in Roman numerals, and that counts for a minus. So the purpose of the game is to get to minus 23 or plus 23, but there are some special hands here that give different values. Now, I've played a bunch, and I haven't seen any of these hands come up. They're kind of rare, so you don't have to memorize them or anything like that. Everybody gets dealt 2 cards, and then it goes around, and everybody can either trade in a card, protect a card, you can raise the pot, and so on. There are antes, just like there is in poker. And in this starting hand, I'm starting off with 7. And you can see down there in the very bottom middle, it says I have a hand of 7. So, Ben has called. So, we're going to call that bet, pay the 100. And we're just going to keep and go with it. And there are 2 pots. There's the game pot on the left, and there's the Sabacc pot on the right. Antes go into the Sabacc pot, and then whenever you get a total of 23 a Sabacc, then you will get the Sabacc pot. So it kind of builds and it gets really, really big. And there's also something called bombing out. And when you bomb out is when you have a hand over 23 or under 23, or if you call, which they call an Alderon, and you don't win the pot, that is also a bomb out. I added a card to my hand and I got the Mistress. And a hand of 20 is very good. Actually, it seems like most of the pots are won with either a 20, 21, 22, or 23. Now, Luke has moved one of his cards to the interference field. He protected a card, so that random effect is called the Sabacc shift. There are other variations of this game where you actually roll dice, and if the dice line up, like 1 and 1 or 2 and 2, then that's when the Sabacc shift happens. On this game, the computer handles it for you, and it doesn't happen that often, but when it does happen, the effects can be very random. You could going from having the best hand to the worst hand, or you could just totally sneak a win in there. So it totally is like a gambling mechanism, and that's why the interference field is important to protect your cards. So a hand of 20 is good. So we're going to hit next, and he is betting 100. So I think we want to definitely call this hand because 20 is a good hand, definitely for 100. And a Sabacc shift happened, and the Mistress got turned into an ace, so my hand actually improved and went to a 22. So we should do the Alderon, which the Alderon is like calling the whole hand. We all show our cards, and that's the end. Now, if you Alderon and you lose, you bomb out, and you're going to have to pay into the Sabacc pot. So what happens right here is that we both got a 22. So what that means is we have to go to sudden demise. We're going to get an additional card. And of course, in the tutorial, you get a 1. So not only do I win the pot on the left, but I also get the pot on the right because it is a 23. Lots of fun. Let's go into the game mode. And we're going to play in single player. And we're just going to go into a basic one right here. And if you play Texas Hold'em, I play it very slow. Now, with a hand of 12, what I want to do is just I want to play as little as possible, but I want to draw a card. So I'm going to call right there. Only going to cost me 2 chips on this particular table. And when it comes around to me, I will draw another card and hope I can get as close to 23 as possible. Okay, so we're waiting for R7X4, and then we'll get to draw a card. Now, if I had a better hand, let's say like a 20 or something like that, I would protect one of these cards because that would just be like the smart thing to do. Although I usually only protect face cards. Okay, let's add a card and see what we get. Okay, I get a 19. Not bad. Now, I haven't found that 19s usually win, but it's not a horrible bet. Probably just call and see what happens with a 19. Okay, so it looks like it has been raised up to 12, and so I will call that bet when it comes around. I don't feel like raising. If I had like a 21 or 22, I would raise, but right now I'm just going to hit call. So I hit call and see what happens. Now, on this next round, the Alderaan can actually happen, so sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't happen. I'm hoping I'll get a shift in this hand just to see how that goes. And after this, we'll go to the winning hand of that tournament because that was so exciting. All right, what are we going to do right here? I think I am just going to stand. I really don't want to Alderaan right here because if I Alderaan and I lose, then I have to pay into the smaller pot and to the right when I bomb out. All right, so we got to raise, and I am just going to call that bet just because I want to see what happens. All right, let's hit call. And now we're going to go through another round. Let's see if anybody does the Alderaan. I bet you somebody will. There goes the Alderaan right there. So we're going to all show our hands. Oh, and there was a shift. And my hand got a lot worse. And it went to -1. Oh, so I definitely want to trade that card out. We're going to trade out the negative card right here and see what we get. And I got a 15. I won with a 15. I rarely ever win with a 15. But that was because of the shift. Is the reason why I won. Okay, let's go look at the tournament. And so this tournament happened over the weekend. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to play, but I'm hoping they have another one, and then I'll get to do that because it looked like a lot of fun. And I know 2 of the YouTubers here in this room, but we've got Elliot with Battlefield updates, and we have Alex with Star Wars Explained, and then Chris Perillo, and then we've got somebody there from the headquarters there at Sabacc Creative. And it looks like it is winding down, but you can see right there in the Sabacc pot, there is 333, and he has a hand of 12, and he is calling the bet of 205, and my guess is that he will probably draw a card when it comes around. So it looks like we have 2 out of the 4 people here with an all-in, so now it's down to head-to-head with Battlefield updates and Sabacc. And the Sabacc guy wasn't really playing in the tournament. He was just there, an extra player. But it was really between the 3 YouTubers, which is very fun. And now he's got a hand of 24, which is a bomb out. So in this case, going to have to swap out a card, probably the commander there, and just hang out and see what happens. So he protects his 11, which is a very good idea to do. All right, he bets 421. Oof. Okay, so trade out. Oh, he traded out that card. Oh, and the hand got much worse. He got endurance, which counts for -13. So now his hand is worth 8. Field updates does an Alderaan. So right here, oh, so the hand goes to -1. And then what happens right here? Whoa, he had a Sabacc. So he gets all of it, and that is the end of the tournament. Lots of fun. Well, let me know what you think of this game. You can download it on iOS and Android. And as always, thanks for watching and keep on gaming.